In this video, this is just a part one. So we're going to quickly use Elastic Beanstalk to set up, a default web application. Yes, so we're going to just do it. So I'm going to just show you, and then in the second part of this video, we're actually going to take an application that has been built, upload it on GitHub, and then we're going to actually connect it to a CI/CD pipeline, and then see how that would work. So just to begin, let's just create an application on this, and you're going to say web server environment. That's what you take. And then you're going to say application name. Let's say go test. We can call it test 59. Test 59 application is going to automatically fill this. So here you can actually let it be auto-generated, or you can say test 59, test 59, test 59 test. So you can just have your own specific you can check for availability of your particular that, then you're good. So you can do a description of whatever you want. Now we're also using a managed platform. So in this case, we can say I want to use NodeJs environment. We click, then we're good. So here we have two things. First thing, you might have your own code. You can have your own code that you want to actually upload, and then you can give it a version 1.0, and then you upload it as a local file using this, or from an S3 repository. But for this, we're just going to let's just use the sample code that comes with this. Then you're good. Now here you're going to choose presets. So are you going to use a single instance, or are you going to use a single instance using Spot? So Spot, we know, is cheap because Spot is taken from basically from unused EC2 instances, but can be reclaimed at any time. So that is going to be very cheap. And then high availability means it's probably going to it's going to be replicated across availability zones. So you're going to have to factor in price. So for this, let's just use a single EC2 instance, which is the free tier eligible. So we go to next. So it's going to take a little bit of time to load, and then okay. So we're running on Node.js version 17. Now here we're going to use an existing role. Yes. So we're going to use this existing role, which is called Elastic Beanstalk web role. Or let's create a role called AWS Elastic Beanstalk service role, and then choose a key pair. So at this point, I don't have a key pair actually enabled, so which is not a must because I'm basically not going to SSH into an instance. So this is a web role that I've created. Now this is a particular web role that I've actually created. Now basically what would happen is you probably have no web role created. So this is what you're going to do. So without it, you're probably not going to be able to configure a server. So let's come here and let's duplicate this. I want to duplicate this. So you're going to have to create a role for your EC2 instance for this to actually work. So how are you going to do that? You're going to come here and then say IAM. Now IAM is what we call identity and access management. Now if I go to IAM, I'm going to find there are a little bit of problem. So this is an account that I created today because I did lose my phone and I lost all my keys. I haven't backed them up. I will probably when I use another. So I just created an account right now. So I'm using the root, which is not recommended for you at all. So I need to add multi-factor authentication and key access. So I've actually created access key for this because I'm using it on terminal, which is not recommended. So let's leave that. Now you're going to come here to what you call a role. So you're going to come here to what you call a role. Then you need to actually create a role. Now this is a role that I created. So this is a role, Elastic Beanstalk web role. So you can enable it or whatever you call. Now the thing is, you need to add these particular policies. You need to attach these policies to it. So go and look for AWS Elastic Beanstalk web tier policy, these and these. So these are the three roles that you need to attach. So you can rename it anything as long as you attach these particular roles to it. And then after that, you create that particular role. Then now that is the role that you're going to actually use here. So you're going to have the role put here. Then you're going to be okay. So now you can go to next. Next thing you can do, let that load, let that specifically load. So it's taking a bit of time. So the next thing is you're going to decide what VPC are you going to place this in. Now I'm going to use the default VPC, which is 172. I haven't provisioned for an extra VPC. This is a very new account. So you can decide, okay, what do you want? I can activate public IP address, and you can decide how many availability zones do you want it to go. So I can say US is 1A, B, which is enough. I don't have a database for this particular app, but we will probably have a database later when we do that. So we come here, you can choose database subnets. So for example, we do not have that at this moment. So later when we actually in the part 2 of the video, we set that up. So so it's going to take a little bit of loading times required, and then you get so when you're done, so let's come in here and let's see. So security group. So we can actually use the default security group, and in case it's something that we do not want, we can actually go and recheck the security group to make sure it's allowing whatever exactly that we want. So fleet. So we are using, let's use on-demand instance, because spot instance is a little bit tricky. It can be taken back. So we're going to use on-demand instance. And for this, because we're using Fritter, we don't want, let's use T3 micro is enough. We do not need T2 small. And then with this is the AMI ID. This is the AMI ID for, that is auto-filled. So let's continue to next. Okay, let it load. Okay, so we want to also monitoring. So monitoring is something that is actually, we want to do monitoring. So in this case, we're going to do just a little bit of basic monitoring. So let's just talk about basic monitoring, which is okay. So managed updates, let's deactivate managed updates for this particular one. Then you can actually send this to an email address that, an email address that you want all those notifications to go to. I don't need that for now. Then everything is set up. We have Nginx server, platform, everything is okay. Then here we want what we call add environment property. So this is especially when you have some keys, things that you want to, that you don't want to put inside code, they put inside here. So because this is a basic one that these are things that you can change later in the application. So let's continue. So next. Okay, so now we can come here and review everything that we've set up, and then we click on submit. So with this, we do hope that okay. So it should start setting up, and the Elastic Beanstalk. So now we have to look at events and see if our events are going to work. So you look at here, creating environment is starting, and then it's using Elastic Beanstalk, this storage bucket for environment data. So Elastic Beanstalk definitely creates its own. If you come back, you will see it's going to provision its own, S3 bucket for everything logs and stuff. So if you reload, it's supposed to take a little bit of time to set up that particular environment. So that's basically, we're done. So we are creating a security group that's called SG. This is the default security group that has been created. So far we're okay. Nothing has gone wrong. So far is okay. So we just have to sit down and wait and watch this happen. So this is Elastic Beanstalk. So we don't have to manage servers and all that stuff. We just pick. So something like the environment, if we choose Node.js environment, it's going to install Node.js version and everything that is needed in it. Then we're okay. So after this, now the only thing left is, now upload and deploy. So with an Elastic Beanstalk, now we can go to code pipeline and then can create a, CI/CD pipeline, build a build spec .yaml file, and then now we can actually come here and upload the, whatever exactly we want to upload. So we're going to try to, to create a CI/CD pipeline using Spotify clone and see how that is actually going to work for us. Yes, so that is what we're going to do in the second part of the video. Now this, you have to blatantly just chill and wait and see for what is happening. So it has created an Elastic IP address, which is 18.214.this. So an Elastic IP address, and then now we're waiting for EC2 instance to launch. So it's creating an EC2 instance because we said Elastic Beanstalk compute. EC2 instance is at the core of every service in AWS. So everything compute is actually running an EC2 instance beneath it. So it's like one of the basic building blocks of everything on AWS. Yeah, you just don't have to worry about managing that, including if you do AWS amplifiers, things like Lightsail and all that stuff. They all have EC2 instances behind it, including even AWS, AWS Lambda. So right now we're good. So we have added an instance auto scaling group. So you see auto scaling group. So this auto scaling is done for you automatically. So in case you want to scale for workload, it is done automatically. So this is what happened. So far we're okay. So these are events and logs. So we also have logs. We also have logs here, which when you're done, you can actually request logs, full logs, and then view all of them. So this is monitoring, which we have metrics. For monitoring, we have alarms, CloudWatch alarms, and managed updates, which we did not activate for this particular one. So we have tags. You can create managed tags. So we have Elastic Beanstalk environment ID, and we're good. So we're waiting for our environment. So successfully launched environment test env. So our launch is successful. So after that, we come here and click on domain. So health. Let's see for health. Health is now green. So now we have our domain launched, so we can simply come here and copy link address and then paste it here. So what do we have here? So right now, what we have right now is this is the basic web application that's running on Elastic Beanstalk. So the first thing, this is the first step. Now the second step is we're going to now start to deploy the app that we actually want. So we're going to have, so if you want to actually deploy another version of an app, now you can do it manually. You can do it manually by coming here and say upload and deploy. So you choose file and then say, let's say version 1.0.1. So you can actually version. So you can choose to upload it, that is manually. but we don't want to be doing things manually. We want to automate things. So that is why now the next video we're going to use a code build to actually deploy a Next.js application, a Spotify Next.js application, and see how that is going to actually behave. And then, because this is the what do we have here? This is test 59 this.elastic.com. So what would we do? How can we use AWS Route 53 to create a hosted zone, and then we attach an IP address to that particular one, and then we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, that's enough for this video. See you in the next video as we do that. Otherwise, do have a good day.